I really can't speak broadly on, and I don't mean to disappoint you, but I'm part of the reason why I don't follow their positions in detail. There are two reasons. One is I know that on most of the issues, most of them are not good. And I just can't remember, I mean, the candidates that have been affirmatively good on civil liberties are always very obscure candidates. I would say, you know, on the whole, Dennis Kucinich and Ron Paul have, on the whole, been the best on the most civil liberties. And I sort of have come to take for granted that mainstream candidates who are seeking their party's endorsement or the national vote feel that they have to capitulate overall on civil liberties issues. I mean, the last Democratic president we had, and I'm constantly amazed that he is always bashed, as is his wife, for being so liberal, when to me they were, I mean, and liberal has been equated with ACLU inaccurately, but that goes back to at least George Bush against Michael Ducacus. You know, that Clinton, even during this phase of his candidacy that Hillary is now going through, do you remember how he, well, you were too young, but some in the audience might remember that he left New Hampshire during high primary campaign season to fly back to Arkansas, where he was governor, to preside over the execution of a mentally retarded prisoner. And that spoke volumes. And then, by the way, before 9/11, the worst terrorist attack on U.S. soil was the 1995 Oklahoma City bombing. And Clinton and his attorney general reacted exactly the same way Bush and his attorney general reacted after 9/11. They pushed through Congress something that was called the 1996 Anti-Terrorism and Effective Death Penalty Act. So I'm sorry if I sound a little bit cynical. I just don't have very high hopes about anybody who's running for president on the issues of, it used to be the war on crime, now, and it's still the war on drugs, and now it's the war on terror. And the second reason why, you know, so some are a little bit less bad on some issues and some are a little bit less good on some issues. You know, McCain would be horrible for reproductive freedom, for example. I don't think he would be good for Supreme Court appointments, which, by the way, that is my single most important issue when I look at a presidential candidate, because but before I get to that, speaking of the three branches of government, the other reason why I'm somewhat less focused on the president than a lot of my friends are is because I have this sense that there's a lot of damage that's been done that can only be undone by Congress. And it doesn't really matter who the president is if Congress doesn't have the will to repeal some of the terrible legislation or to pass some positive legislation.